Hey, how's it going everyone? It's me, It's Count here with a brand new Pokemon GO discussion video, and today we're going to be talking about the rating experience, more specifically how Niantic is reaching out to the Pokemon GO community and asking for feedback on this core feature of Pokemon GO. They're using a third-party research group, which kind of shows that they're trying to be as objective as possible, and overall it just seems like they're trying to improve the player experience, which is a really good thing. So I'm going to be talking about all of that in today's video, so let's roll the intro and jump right into it. Alright, so when it comes to rating in Pokemon GO, it seems like it's been kind of archaic for a long time now. Of course, recently they added a couple of small changes here and there. More specifically in the visuals, they updated how the raid battles actually look. It's a lot more updated, it's a lot more modern, and I do appreciate that. And they also added these player badges at the end of each match. It's another way of showing off your skills and your battle prowess, as well as a couple of other things that really is seemingly random, but overall I really do like some of these changes. It's made raiding just a slight bit more interesting, and I do think that it could only be a good thing for Pokemon GO. But it seems like they're not stopping there. They actually want to make a lot more improvements to the raiding experience, and that is a good thing, considering that for the longest time there have been a lot of different quality of life things that players have been asking for, and it seems like a lot of that feedback has gone unheard. I really do hope that when they talk to the community in this way, they can get a lot of great points, and hopefully those who do speak to Niantic will actually speak for the community on some of the things that players want. More specifically, I do think that there should be a skip button for the raid lobby, because if the raid fills up to 20 people, all 20 of those players are forced to wait out the entire raid lobby duration. And I really do think this is something that should have been implemented years ago, but for the longest time we have still not had this feature. And the gameplay itself seems very simple as it currently is, and I do think there is some beauty in its simplicity, but I do think some additional gameplay elements would definitely be good for raiding. It would be really interesting if there were different mechanics that would make raid battles a little bit more complex, especially when it comes to the legendary raid battles. I'm not necessarily saying they should make it more difficult by adding a whole bunch of different mechanics, because of course this is a very casual game, and for a lot of players they do not want to learn a lot of strategies for raid battles and different things like that. I'm not saying that raid battles in Pokemon GO needs to be as complex as, let's say, raid battles in World of Warcraft or something similar like that, but what I am saying is that it would be very interesting if they added a lot of different things like stat effects or something related to the day and night cycle. Like something like that would be really cool for raiding. I don't know, maybe all I'm asking is that they spice it up just a little bit, because the gameplay is pretty redundant. I mean, all it is that you're just trying to get as many players as you possibly can to join the raid, and then you just tap away with little to no effort. Maybe they could migrate over some of the elements of PvP battles into raid battles. I really do not know. Of course, it would just be very jarring for a lot of players who are so used to the current system, so that is something Niantic does have to keep in mind. But if they were to spice up raid battles, I'm all for it, and I know a lot of other players would be too. Now, another thing that I really hope the community speaks out about is, of course, the reward structure. As raiding currently is, there really isn't too much to the rewards that really adds a lot of value to the raid. I mean, unless you pick up a 100% IV of the legendary or a shiny, it's really going to feel less rewarding if you do a whole bunch of raids and don't come out with what you want. I'm not necessarily saying that Niantic should cater to every player's entitlement, but what I am saying is that there should be some sort of bad luck protection, especially for players who are looking for hundos or shinies. I think something like that could definitely help players feel a lot more value has been gained from all of their spent raid passes. And finally, and I do believe this is going to be a big thing in 2022, I really do think Niantic needs to keep their hands off of remote raids. Of course, they are planning to nerf the damage from remote raiders, and this is something that a lot of players have voiced their concerns about, and I really do hope that they listen to those concerns. This is of course because the current raid experience does rely heavily on remote raiders, and for all of those remote raiders to do less damage means that it's going to feel less rewarding and engaging for those raid battles. I mean, when it comes to raids right now, it's definitely very different from when raids first came out. A lot of the bosses are not as difficult as they were in the past, but regardless, when it comes to remote raids, they've done so much good for every community of Pokemon Go players, and on top of that, they've made raiding a lot more accessible for rural players. So for Niantic to nerf the damage for remote raiders, I do think this could only hurt Pokemon Go rather than help it. I know they're all about going out and exploring, but I do think this is one of those things that they should leave untouched, and it's a very similar case to the Pokestop and gym interaction distance. If it were up to me, I think Niantic should build upon remote raiding and add more mechanics to it, rather than nerfing it and just expecting players to go out and explore more. And I really think when it comes to remote raids, it's just in a really good place. So for Niantic to try and fix what isn't broken when it comes to remote raiding, yeah, that's going to be a huge detriment to a lot of players' excitement and enthusiasm for raiding. So all of these are just some of my thoughts when it comes to how Niantic could improve raiding. But of course, raiding is not the only issue with Pokemon Go right now. Actually, I would say raiding is in a pretty good place, so there really isn't too much going on with it. But I do think Niantic should focus up on the PvP experience more than raiding. Of course, any improvements to every aspect of Pokemon Go is going to be a good thing, but I do think the core issue right now with Pokemon Go is in relations to the Go Battle League. I've been very vocal about this, but I do think that the PvP experience just needs a lot of work. It's not just with the issues like the bugs and the server issues, but I do think the gameplay itself is just lacking. It's really difficult to advance in PvP unless you are following a strict meta, and on top of that, there really isn't too much skill involved either. I know a lot of players will disagree with me on that, especially some of the core PvP content creators, but at the core of it, the game is a glorified rock, paper, scissors, and I do think that some more complexity could be added to PvP battles to make it a lot more interesting and a lot more fun. Just like I mentioned earlier with raid battles, I would like to see PvP get status effects eventually, or you have to strategize around getting your Pokemon disabled or poisoned or different things like that. It would definitely spice up PvP quite a lot, because as of right now, it's kind of boring and not that rewarding to play the Go Battle League. It's just really comes down to how good your collection is compared to the players you're going up against, and that's really unfortunate because as of right now, I really do want to be active with the Go Battle League, and I do think that it is going to be the core feature of Pokemon Go moving forward. It's really what's going to determine the longevity of Pokemon Go. It's not necessarily going to be raiding, it's going to be all about the Go Battle League. So yes, even though I am happy about them improving raid battles, I really do think their focus should be specifically on the Go Battle League. If anything, they should be fixing all of the bugs in the Go Battle League and just making it a lot more polished, because as of right now, it is a miserable experience. You could be doing really well one day, and then the next day you can just run into a lot of server issues and a lot of bugs, and it just dampens your experience. So these are some of the things that Niantic should be focusing on in 2022, and I really do hope that they continue on this track with keeping a close communication with the Pokemon Go community, because that's something that they really need to work on, and it's something that they've had a really bad history with. And I really do think they've made some great strides over the past couple of years, but they do have a lot of ground to make up. But yeah, something like this is a step in the right direction. But these are just everything that I'm thinking regarding all of this, but I would love to know your thoughts down below. How would you improve raiding in Pokemon Go, and what are your thoughts about Niantic reaching out to the community? Definitely let me know, let's have a great discussion, and if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And I'm Count Jinsula, be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I will catch you all later.